Hi there, welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today we'll be walking you through your 2020 Winnebago 3235RL. We are just going to start off with the back of the unit. That is where you're going to find your ladders. Get up periodically, check all your seals. You're going to have a 2-inch receiver back here. Just keep in mind there's weight restrictions when it comes to it, and it is really only good for a bike rack. And then located inside the rear bumper cap, give you access from both sides. But if you're pulling the bumper cap, it's typically where we store your sewer hose after your first use. We currently have a brand new one located inside the front compartment, which is why there's not one in there yet. And the bumper cap does just press into place nice and easy like so. And then in this back corner, you do get your standard 50 amp twist lock connection. Just take a note of that silver strip there. It lines up with this silver strip on this side. Once you line those two up, just press it firmly into place, 8th turn to lock it down, and then you get that threaded color to really lock it down. If you follow that code back, it becomes your standard 50 amp plug-in. Now, a lot of campsites, especially here in Manitoba, may not have this 50 amp service. So that's why we do include this 30 amp dog bone adapter. Just keep it in mind whenever you're using the 30 amp adapter, you're only gonna be able to run one air conditioner at the time. This unit is equipped with 2, so you would need 50 amp service to run both of them at the same time. But for your day-to-day, if you just need to run one, 30 amp is plenty. And then we do also need a 50 amp arc adapter to go down to that 30 in case you wanting to run your unit off a standard outlet, household outlet. Just keep it in mind whenever you're using that adapter, you're not going to be able to run any air conditioners. It's just to run your fridge and your lights. Get your stabilizer jacks here. So if you push to extend, that's going to put one stabilizer jack in. You push extend it on the other side, you're going to put the other stabilizer jacks down. Drop that one on the other side. You're going to see that foot contact down. Give it that one extra little blip. Motor's wound up, so now you're at your full extension. Do the same thing on the other side. Foot contacts the ground. One little extra one just to snug it up. That's just going to take any bouncer sway you see having the unit right now away. Now it's going to be very important that you already have your unit leveled before you put these down. As these aren't leveling jacks, they are just to stabilize the unit. If you use them as leveling jacks, you do run the risk of bending them into retracting, or there's just the exact opposite. Push and hold those buttons in the opposite direction that you had them in their first place, and they would suck themselves up to the bottom of the unit. You got a little docking light here in case you were doing anything at night. Down below on, this front side of the tire, your sewer outlet. This is like any standard one. Take that cap, twist it off. Your sewer hose is gonna have the same ears. It's gonna butt right up into there, and then you'd be able to dump all your sewage. Of course, all the valves are up top here. The 2 gray ones are gonna be the ones you wanna do last, and then this black one is gonna be the dirtiest water filled from your sewage tank, and you want to empty that one first, as again it's just your dirtiest water. It's going to keep the hose that much cleaner just doing it that way. You get your hot water service port. Anytime coming in here, whenever you go to fire up your water heater when you first get to your campsite, you want to hit that pressure relief valve. There should be that shot of water coming out of there letting you know the tank's full. We currently have this unit winterized, ready for customer pickup as we're getting with those cold Manitoba months. Again, hit that pressure relief valve. There's no water, so it wouldn't be safe to fire right now, especially on electricity. You're going to burn out that probe pretty quickly. So, just keep that in mind. Got your furnace exhaust. Whenever your furnace is running, this will be blowing out hot air, so just be mindful of that. You got a black tank flush, so the way that works is if you're noticing false monitor panels inside, false monitor panel readings inside, or an odor around the unit, it's also a good measure just to do it after every couple of uses. Keeps the tank that much cleaner. It's black tank flush, threaded guard nose in there. Read the caution sticker, very important. Again, you have your black tank valve open, pushing pressure inside of the tank. You want that pressure to have somewhere to go, and that just flushes that tank out. Get your fresh water filler here. So if you're out boondocking or your campsite just doesn't have water, you can siphon some water in through here, and that fills up your fresh tank. If you stick your head right down below the floor, you do get the drain for it right here, and the valve is up top here. So you pull this white valve, and that's what's going to be draining your fresh tank. You get 2 more sets of stabilizer jacks, obviously for the front half. They work the same way as the back half. Inside this compartment, open this guy up. This is going to be where your city water connection is. So if you're at a site with service, you just thread a garden hose in there, turn it on. It's going to pressurize all those lines without the need to run your water pump. Let's say you're out boondocking, you want it to be able to run off your water pump, you have to turn this valve over to the left like so. And if there's water inside your tank, you can then start using the water pump. Battery disconnect with it in the on position like it is now. The batteries are connected to the unit. If you were to turn that to the off position, the batteries would become disconnected from the unit. You got a couple plug-ins, cable satellite inlets there as well. You get your starter kit over there, which is where that sewer hose, 15-foot water hose, as well as some other miscellaneous goodies are located. These two have slam latch, slam, up front. You got your battery, just like home, not much I'm going to show you there. And then inside here, you get 2 standard propane tanks. Most of the time, you can get your sheet done just by lifting up this cap. You get access to the top of the tanks before the deal. You'll just slide the tank right out of place. You got your selector valve, so obviously with it pointed this way, you're going to be drawing off this tank. Counterclockwise, like any standard barbecue, to open up the flow of propane. Just wanted to make sure you do open up nice and slowly. If this tank were to go dry, you can just close it off, flip this over to the other side, and you can then start drawing off this tank. Around the driver's passenger side, you get the other side of that storage compartment. Again, you're going to find tons of storage stores just whenever you are using any of it. Being mindful of the range water lines and things like that. A couple outlets in case you had anything you wanted to plug in outside. And then you can just try to get the rest of the unit. Now for the best part, to take a step on inside, you're just taking that assist handle, pushing it up, holding it 90 degrees, something allowed to lock in place. Then open up your door. You do have to have your door open all the way for those stairs to come down properly. Lock that in place. To get your stairs to come down, you're just pulling on the yellow handle, pop the stairs down towards you. Fold those down, and then take a step on inside. First thing you notice off on the left is that fire extinguisher, which is just like home, hit and shoot. And now right in front of your face, you get your monitor panel system. Also on there is just some lights. So you got entry lights, main lights, turns on most of the main living spaces, and lights and enough for you to see to get around with ease. Next, you're gonna have your slide out controls. Before you ever operate your slide outs, I always recommend doing a good visual check inside and out. Just making sure that nothing's getting shifted or gotten caught in between the slide out and the wall. I know obviously for that back set of slides, it's gonna be pretty difficult to see back there. But again, just do the best you can from up here. And when you're putting them out, just making sure you're visual that they're going out nice and even and not binding or doing anything weird. And of course, just on the outside, making sure you have enough space for the slide outs to go out without running them into anything. Next, you just push the button down, out. Slide out's going to start making its way out, and once that slide out does reach its full extension, you're going to hear the motors wind up and click. Then you can do your kitchen slide. Again, it's going to work the same way as this other one. Then you get your monitor panel system, so if you push the button, it'll tell you the corresponding level. Then you get some awning lights. You got your water heater switches, which you can either fire it on electric or gas. Of course, making sure that you have the tank full prior to doing the heater is very important. It doesn't take much to burn out that tank. Even for running it for a couple of minutes, it's going to burn something out. And if you go to fire it up on propane, it's going to be pretty crucial that you already have your propane supply at the front turned on. And of course, you purge the system. I'm going to go over purging once we do get to our stove. But making sure it's purged prior to turning it on, it's just going to make things a little bit easier for you. Then you got your water pump switch, which does draw to your fresh tank. And then last but not least, you get your awning control. Push and hold to extend. The awning's going to start making its way out. Once the awning reaches its full extension, you're going to take it back and melt your little flap thing down. Now, unfortunately, today I don't think we're going to be able to go all the way out with the awning. That's going to be about it there before we start running into other things. So now, if we were to start reading, you can take any arm, front or rear, pull down, loosen that off, pull it down towards you. It would then change the pitch of the awning head, allowing water to now run off. Now, if you like that angle better, because it's going to allow for more shade underneath. Of course, you can adjust the pitch on the front arm as well. Just make sure that before you rig the awning in, you do loosen off both sides, allowing the awning to be in its natural resting position when you bring it in. Once the arms contact the side of the trailer, the motor will automatically cut out. And there you go. It's all done. So that brings me to my next suspect on this wall, which is going to be the thermostat. So this is going to be your main thermostat. This is going to control your rear air conditioner as well as the heating system inside the unit. It works pretty simple, and your front thermostat's going to work the exact same way as this back one. The only difference is that front one only controls the front air conditioner. So if you push and hold the power button, push it once, it illuminates itself, push it again. You're going to go into your different fan settings. You got auto, which is the setting I always recommend leaving it in. You got high and you got low. Now the reason I'm recommending you leave it in auto is it means it's an on-demand system. So once the room reaches its desired temperature, it'll automatically kill the fan on the air conditioner. Same goes for if you went to turn on the heat. Now if you had the fan on either high or low with no auto on there, the fan will actually run continuously until you actually manually turn it off. Push the button one more time, you get out of fan, you get into your next mode, which is cool. So again, that's with the air conditioning taken into effect. Up and down to change your set desired temperature. Push that button one more time, that's going to kill your air conditioner, fire up your furnace. Your furnace runs off propane, so again, it's going to be another thing that you're going to want to make sure you purge. And it moves its air through all the floor portals you have throughout the unit. Power button one more time, that's going to cycle you back over to off. And that's going to be it. You have a couple different vent lids inside this unit. One in this main living space, one in the bathroom. They both open up with their own little switches. Turn it on, that'll allow you to open it up. Or if you want to close it, you can close it. This customer did already opt for the vent lid covers, so you already got that covered. That's one extra bonus for you. It's a great addition to have on your camper. Next, you're going to have a bunch of different light switches around the unit. You're going to notice a bunch of them around. They're going to turn on accent lighting you have on the inside. It's beautiful. You can kind of discover the lights as you find them. In addition to that, some of the lights have their own center push buttons, so you can turn them on and off individually. Unfortunately, the main living space lights do not have that, but some of the lights in the unit will. Tons of storage space again, just of course being mindful of drains and water lines. Right down below, because you're equipped with propane, you got your LP detector right there near the ground. If that guy ever starts going off, it's just letting you know that you're getting concerning levels of oxygen inside of here. So you might want to close the tank at the front of the unit, open up some windows and vents, and get some fresh oxygen inside of here. Right next to that, you do get your breaker panel. It's also your converter. So whenever a breaker trips, it'll sit in the middle, so you just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it, and you have all your corresponding fuses on the right. Now in this main living space, in the bunk, in the first slide out here, you got your main table as well as all your chairs. All the blinds in the unit are going to work the same way. They just kind of sit where you leave them, and then one quick pull will allow it to retract back up. You got two recliner chairs right here. This back couch will turn out into a bed in case you had some extra guests you weren't intending on. You just have to remove the cushions from the couch, grab on the foot of the cushion, pull it towards you. It's going to allow those feet to hang down, and then you can then have another bed. Fire exit at the back window here. It was pretty simple. Flip this over, pull it to my left, opens it up, and then you can slide that screen out of the way. And if both were slid all the way over, you can hop on out. Of course, trying to go feet first. But if there's a fire, just getting out as quickly as possible is going to be very important. Entertainment center, pretty much self-explanatory, minus the fact of you having your different zones. You got A speakers and B speakers on this unit. A is inside, B will be your exterior ones. C aren't actually hooked up to anything. You got your fireplace down below, power button on the, well, you got the first button to turn the power on to it, and then you got the power button to turn it on. Then you get your different heat settings, your different flame colors. Then you get your different heat settings, pushing it twice for low, 3 times for high. And then, of course, you can change your set temperature that you wanted it to set the room to. And then you got a timer that goes anywhere from 1 hour to 8 hours. Little power switch to turn that back off. Storage on both sides. TV, again, pretty much just like home. And then stepping into our kitchen area, you got a beautiful island with your kitchen sink, convection oven on this side. Right down below, you got your stove. So I went over a purging note. Basically, at the front of the system, when you turn off both of the bottles or disconnect either one of them, it allows air into the system. Once air makes its way in, it does have to be purged out. Now, the quickest, easiest way to do that is by using your stove. And that's because you get to decide how long you leave the gas open for and how many lighting sequences it goes through. If you went to go to fire up your fridge, your water heater, or your furnace, those only try lighting themselves a couple times, and then if they don't sense a flame, it's going to throw a fault code at you. If you don't know what the fault code means, it can throw a little wrench in your weekend. So again, just by purging the system, it just makes it that much easier for everything else to fire up pretty quickly. But if you do go to fire up anything else and it never fires up, and it doesn't fire the first time, always try it a second time, because again, it could just be a weird purging issue. But since we're coming to our stove now, I'll just show you how to light it quickly. Of course, being safe, because it is a gas stove. Whenever you're running this, get any of the gas valves on, make sure that you're hitting that igniter every few seconds. Because if you weren't lighting that every few seconds and there would be a buildup of gas, and then you did have a spark, it could cause a minor combustion, causing you to possibly lose some eyebrows and eyelashes if your face was nearby. Again, that's another thing we're going to want to avoid. So just being safe whenever you're trying to light this is going to be your best option. But eventually they will all light. Same goes for the oven. The only difference with the oven is it doesn't have the igniter, so you'd actually have to have a lighter handy. Come down here, turn it over to the pilot option, push and hold the knob in. Of course, I don't have a lighter on me today. Bring it over to the gas orifice on the right-hand side of the burner. Once that pilot's able to light and stay lit with it without you pushing in on the button, you can turn it up to your desired temperature and it would fire right on out. Get your fridge-freezer combo. Fridge up top, freezer down below. Controls for all that are just up top here. You turn it on. Obviously, the unit is going to turn on. You can set your temperature using the temp set button, and then you got auto, which is going to first search for shore power, and then once shore power is taken away, assuming you already have the gas on and the system purged, it would automatically switch over to gas and hopefully light the first time. With all that being said, again, a fridge is something that can be very finicky when it comes to lighting on gas, so always make sure you stick around for a few minutes to make sure that you don't get any fault lights that pop up because it failed to light. Power button again to turn it off, and if you wanted it to run solely on gas, you're going to see right now there's a little dot in the left hand corner under auto. You hit that button, switches over to LP, which is gas. I'm going to switch that back over to auto for you because that's probably what you're going to want to leave it on. But if you want to switch it, that is how you do it. Beautiful little pantry space for all sorts of foods, adult drinks, kids drinks, whatever you want to put in there. Now that is bringing us into the front of the unit. Beautiful window on the right. And now inside here is the bathroom. The light switch is on your right. You get one of those vent lid switches right down below that. You also have your main GFI plug here on the wall. So if you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, just make sure that this GFI isn't tripped. That way, yeah, sometimes they can trip for the weirdest reasons. It is based off moisture though. Sink, fridge, pretty standard bathroom. Just of course noticing that you do have travel straps on both the glass shower door and the sliding bathroom door. Failure to latch either one of those during travel could result in damage. Again, something we don't want to happen. Then last but not least, you do get into the bedroom. Pretty standard bedroom. Nice little storage spot underneath for some extra blankets in case you need to put any in there. Other than that, you got storage on both sides. Another fire exit on this side as well. You're just having to grab this little red tab, pull it. The screen's going to pop right out of place. At that point, you can just take these handles, loosen them off, push, pop out of the unit. Again, trying to go feet first, but if there is a fire, just get out as quickly as possible. Then the screen just pops right back into place. On the wall TV backer, in case you want to mount a TV in your bedroom, this is going to be the best location to do it, just because you have that extra support there and the 2 plugins right up top. Now that is going to be it for this unit here, so if you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.